And that is my subject here today. I'm talking about leadership. And so I want to say hello to YouTube out there. And I know it's a little later than I normally might go live here and talk with you all. But one of the reasons I'm up is because of leadership and doing a lot of leadership throughout the day. And so a lot of you out there, I know some of you are doing different things, and now as you all begin to, get throughout your week, throughout your day, you're thinking about how to grow as an individual, how to grow as a leader. And so I really, really want y'all to know it. I really, really want y'all to understand that everything that we do, it comes down to having strong leadership skills, because we have to even be a self-leader, right? And so as I'm thinking about my day and just all that's been going on, I'm solving a problem here, I'm encouraging someone there, giving direction over here, and, actually making a hard decision there. And all of us, we want to be better leaders. And especially all of us that are entrepreneurs, we have to make decisions all the time. We don't have any time to waste when it comes to making sure we make the right call, making sure that we help people with the right thing, and ultimately making sure that we are people that are dependable and that actually are able to guide and influence the right way that gets the results and the outcomes that we're looking for. And so I want all of you to know that one of the biggest indicator if someone is a leader or not is if anyone is following them. And so we have to make sure that there's something in us that is worthy to follow. It is a great honor for someone to call you a leader. It is a great honor to be viewed as a leader. And we all have to be that to a certain extent. And every leader must also be willing to follow. So when you are actually, stepping into the recognition of being called a leader, it's something that we want to embody. It's something that we want to be. It's not something we want to be called. It's something we want to be. And it starts off with many different ingredients that we must, begin to, earn by going through things and learning how to actually begin to be a part and be connected to, exemplifying and demonstrating leadership when things are tough, when things are hard, when things get difficult. And I can really honestly say that, from the beginning, coming in my career, not knowing exactly how things were going to turn out, but even before my career, there was the job of life and learning how to navigate situations, that were challenging as a young man. And then all the way coming into, getting to your first job opportunities where you're thrust into leadership responsibilities. And then ultimately, when you actually become the CEO of a business, right? So it's one thing to work at Toyota and be in different environments where I had leadership skills, but I was working a lot on behalf of other leaders, to like starting a business. And now you have to create culture. Now you have to cultivate other leaders. Now you have to learn how to build teams, and you have to learn how to, be accountable to people and learn how to actually take something in a specific direction. And so I hope you noticed when we said it's time to lead, and I am actually going over, 4 things that entrepreneurs must do to be remarkable leaders. So I want to go over some of those things, and that LEAD is actually an acronym that I want to really talk to you about, and just taking a little time and talking about some of the things that we must do, especially as entrepreneurs, but even leaders in general. One of the first things that I want to address here is that we must be able to listen. And so when we think about listening, I want you to consider that, listening is, really critical, listening to the people you serve. And that's very important to understand, number one, that we need to listen, and to understand, too, that you're listening to the people that you serve, right? that this is also something to understand, to switch your thinking, that leadership is about serving, but it starts with being able to listen to the people that you serve. So it's one thing to say I'm a good leader because I serve. You hear about servant leadership. You hear about people who are willing to do a lot for their teams, do a lot for the people that they're responsible for. But listening is very different. I can do a lot for you and still never listen to you. There are so many leaders today that do not understand the power of listening. They're not willing to actually take the time to really hear what someone is trying to say. They're not patient enough. They don't have enough, care to really want to understand what people are really feeling. And this is really important, because when we think about listening to people you serve, sometimes you're thinking about the business, you're thinking about, the team you work with, you're thinking about employees, you're thinking about all of that. But we have to remember the customer is also someone that we have to serve. So we have to understand that this ability to listen to people that you serve is directly translated to the type of culture you build in the company. So if you don't have a company that has got very good listening skills from every aspect of the organization, beginning with you as the leader of that business or the entrepreneur of that journey, then that's going to translate to how you interact with the very people who keep the business alive. That's the customer, how you serve them. And I don't care if you're a business of 1 or a business of 100, if you're a business of 10, you're a business of 2,000, you have to know how to have this skill and this, this ability to shut off your inner voice that has something to say, that has a rebuttal, that has something to justify why things are the way they are, but is able to genuinely understand where someone is coming from, genuinely understand how someone is feeling, to really hear what they're saying and what they're not saying. This is the deep thing too, to hear what someone is saying and what they're not saying. I see some of you that are coming on with me here tonight. I appreciate you all jumping in on this live here with me. We're talking about, it's time to lead. And we're talking about 4 things entrepreneurs must do to be remarkable leaders. So some of you, I know, depending on where you are, you may or may not be able to be here live, but many of you will see this later, and I want you to listen to it with the same passion, because if we do not learn how to lead, we will not be able to be as effective as we want to be as entrepreneurs and as professionals as well. Now, here's another thing that we have to do. We have to also make sure that everyone, get my pen a little smaller here, everyone knows they matter. Now, this is another very important thing. Now, this is not always easy to do, but everyone has to know they matter, okay? So we're really dealing with the fact that everyone means that when you're leading, you're not leading in a way where you have favorites or you have, individuals that you are biased towards on your own team, in your own network, amongst your own associates, to make sure that you show up the same way for everyone when it comes to dependability, accountability, and the way that you make decisions. And every single person must know that they matter. They don't have to matter equally to every project or to everything that's being done by the business, because everyone's skill set and talents are different, but they have to know they matter. Knowing that you matter is paramount to being able to make sure that people who follow you actually are enjoying following you, are enjoying supporting you, because think about it, when you're leading, people have options. They don't have to follow you. They don't have to do what you say. They don't have to be, bring a good attitude to the environment in which you are leading. And so if you want that, you have to give something too. And so making sure that everyone knows that they matter to the greater vision, they matter to the greater goal, they matter to the greater cause, the purpose is so important. So you have to be able to make those connections to the things that matter and that are meaningful, and how every single person is tied to that, right? So when you think about every individual, right, they might be all over the place, right, in your business, right? And here we have purpose. There's got to be a way to make the connection, right, to get everyone on this circle, if you will, where they all know that they are connected to a purpose. I should say the purpose. So to understand how someone matters, you have to first know what matters in your business. If you don't know what matters, how can you make sure everyone knows they matter? Because we are all here to make the business better. We're all here to make the business be successful. So we have to really understand the things in our business that matters first. Then we have to understand everyone. When we understand everyone and we understand what matters, then we can connect everyone to what matters and help them to see that, right? So this is, again, something that we have to be able to convey. We have to be able to, good leaders are able to figure that out. How do I convey that? You say, well, man, how do I make that connection? Exactly. This is what good leaders know how to do. They know how to do that. I don't care if it's on a sports team. I don't care if you're dealing with the military. I don't care if you're dealing with business. I don't care if you're dealing with a family. You have to be able to make that connection. And this is something that we must practice and we must master as entrepreneurs. Remember, when we're thinking about leadership and entrepreneurship, we're thinking about mastery. I'm talking about how you can be a remarkable leader, right? Not a leader that's just talking, not a leader that's just, you think you're a leader because of the title you have. Anyone can start a business. Anyone can sell a product. Anybody can come up with something. Anyone can create a logo. Anyone can create a brand. Anyone cannot be a leader because you have to actually do and become something, more importantly. And if you become something, right, then it will manifest in the way that you do things. And then the way that you do things is going to create outcomes that are all starting from the seed of leadership that begin with you. And that's why these are, critical principles. Now, I want to go to the next one here. And, this is a big one. And I gotta make sure I left myself some room here. But alignment, right? Now, alignment between what people want. Let's start a new line here. What people want to do and what needs to be done. This is really critical. So here, alignment means to have things properly straightened and corrected in a way where something can move in the right direction. So you ever seen someone's car and it's out of alignment? You let go of the steering wheel and it starts veering to the left. You let go of the steering wheel and it's veering to the right. It means, let's say your car is out of alignment, right? So we have to make sure, because when you're leading, you have to understand and feel when people are starting to move to the left and move to the right. They're starting to drift away from the culture, drift away from the goal, drift away from the purpose, drift away from being engaged. So we as leaders must feel that, right? So that we can keep everyone in alignment. Now, as an entrepreneur over the last 2 decades, I've had to do this, over and over and over and over again. It's always something that you have to do. You have to keep that alignment. And also, I have to stay aligned. And if you're an entrepreneur, you have to stay aligned, right? You got to make sure you're not veering away to the left or to the right, right? Because I can't keep you aligned if I'm not aligned. And I got to know what to align to. So specific to this alignment, I'm going to even get another color here. So alignment between what people want to do, right, and what needs to be done. Now, good leaders are able to do this. Now, I want you to understand this. When we talk about what people want to do, what we're really dealing with here when we say what people want to do, getting even another color here. When we're talking about what people want to do, we're really here dealing with motivation. Okay. Now, from a leadership perspective, now all of you that has been joining, I see more of you coming on and chatting with me here. Thank you so much for jumping on here. I know this is a later evening live, but we're talking about leadership. It's time to lead. And four things entrepreneurs must do to be remarkable leaders. Now, when you think about motivation, I want you to keep in mind, motivation is people feeling excited and moved about something, excited and moved about something, right? So when you think about that, one thing that I want you to notice in motivation, you almost have the word motive. Motive. Now, have you ever seen someone do something, but with the wrong motive, right? They did something, but they didn't really mean it. They did something, but it's really not genuine, right? Their motive was wrong. You hear someone say that, I could feel like their motive, they have a motive, right? Motive always feels kind of sneaky. It feels kind of like something is not honest, something is wrong. You say, what's your motive, right? Now, I want you to keep in mind, when we think about motivation, it lets you know that people's motives and the things that move them, right? Motivation is kind of tied to that. It has a lot to do with your motive. So you might do something, but not be motivated to do it. And then that means you are working with a different motive, right? And that's very important. If you get somebody that's working and doing things, but their motive is wrong, they're not going to be as happy. The work is not as rewarding. You're not going to see as good of a result, right? But when you begin to get someone tied into what they're motivated to do, then their motive starts to be aligned with their work. Like they actually have a motive to do good at that job. They have a motive to be great at what they're doing. They have a motive to generate results in that particular area. And that's what you want. You want everyone's motives to be aligned with where the company's trying to go. So what a really good leader is able to do, right, is to build a bridge between what needs to be done and what a person may want to do. Now, when we look at the things that we have to face in any job, right, there's going to be, some percentage of, what I like, what I don't like. Right? There's no job that's like just everything about it. I just, I love it, right? I like picking up my pen. I like my computer. I like where my desk is at. I like all the people I have to talk to. I like every report I have to write. I like every single phone call I have to make. I like every single to-do list item that I have to get done. Every single thing about it. There's nothing I don't like. That is very rare, if not impossible. Just, you're not working if you like every single thing, right, about it. So the key is, how can I change this pie, right, as much as possible to maybe have more like than don't like, right? So when you think about trying to find that alignment, number one, you got to know the people you're leading, and you have to be able to show them the value of what needs to be done, and either allow them and find a way to create a motivation in new ways that they didn't know they could, or you have to find a way to align what needs to be done with something that motivates them, right? So that could actually mean that I'm going to actually tie some reward as well as some combination of work into a job to make sure there's enough there to motivate while they're doing the things that we need them to do. Sometimes what you need to do can be wrapped in something that you like so much that you don't even notice those things that need to be done. You're just enjoying doing what you do. Good leaders are able to package the request, package the responsibility, package the task in a way that has that type of alignment. When you become a master leader, you're able to see those connections very quickly. You're able to quickly see how to make those connections and build those bridges that'll cause someone to walk over, right, that bridge from a place of doubt and fear to a place of comfort and actually commitment, because I see it's safe to go over here and actually do what needs to be done. And I see, and again, remember, if I've been listening, these all kind of go together. If I've been listening, and if everyone knows they matter, by the time we get to alignment, right, it's a lot easier to accept what you're trying to tell me and how you're trying to align me to what needs to be done, right? So all of this is very, very key. These are, very, pivotal secrets that many times, leaders don't understand. This is why a lot of times leaders will, struggle with, I can't get everyone to respond to what I'm trying to do. I can't get everyone happy to do what I need them to do. I can't get everyone committed to what I want them to do. And it's not just the people working for you. You can be a team of one. It could just be you working with vendors, you working with customers, you working with, other counterparts. All these things still require this type of thinking, right? Now, the other thing I want to talk about, last but not least, all right, so we're kind of getting here to the tail end here, and I really thank all those who hopped on here with me so late into the evening here. And what we also want to do is deliver. I'm going to put that. We're going to deliver on what we promise. So delivering on what we promise. We talked about alignment, right? And now we're talking about deliver. And we're delivering on what we promise. Now, deliver means I have to get it to the person, right? I can't just talk about it. I can't just say, this is what's going to happen. Deliver means to get it to an individual, right? You ever say, I'm waiting for a package to be delivered. You don't mean it's en route at that point, right? When you say, I'm waiting for something to be delivered, right? Delivery means that whatever was supposed to come arrived, right? I mean, I delivered on whatever I was supposed to deliver. Now, when we say promise, now I want you to keep this in mind. As leaders, we must both make promises, and then we also must fulfill promises. Leaders have to do that. So you can't be a leader and not make any promises, right? Well, why would I follow you if you're not sure about where you're going? You're not committed to anything. You can't promise me anything, right? That means you're not sure about anything. You should be able to promise me certain things, such as, I promise you I will listen. I promise you I will always care about and make sure you know why you matter, right? I promise you that I'm going to be consistent in my ability to make sure that the business is trying to go in the right direction, right? And that I'll communicate, when we're making turns in the business, right? And then fulfill. So remember that when you think about a promise, it's not even just about those types of promises or things I might say with my mouth. A promise is also things that you as a leader have endorsed in the business and the culture. And if you endorse something in the culture that the business is going to do, the business is committed to, You didn't say, I promise anything, but when you endorsed that, there's certain meetings that are going to happen. There's certain ways problems are going to be handled. There's certain ways customers are going to be treated. There's certain ways that you expect the team to work together, right? When you begin to give those instructions and when you allow for training that either you provide or you let someone else come in and train, that is a part of your promise commitment. Anything that you say to a customer that you agree that you're going to do, when you say you have the best service, when you say you're good at what you do, when you say you're going to deliver on certain things with respect to the experience that someone receives when they interact with you, that is a promise. So we have to deliver on what we promise. When we deliver on what we promise, we're concerned about delivery, right? Sometimes you might have a package being delivered, right? And you say, it got lost, and you say, I gotta go find, where is this package at? Where did it go? I gotta find where this package is. Well, sometimes in our business and in our journey as an entrepreneur, you have to find out where you've lost. I've lost some integrity. I've lost some direction. I've lost some consistency. I've lost some, value that I'm supposed to deliver. And I have to, find where that's at and bring it to the place that it should have been delivered, right? We stopped having our meetings like we used to. We got off track. This happens to all of us, happens to me. And a good leader can feel that and say, no, I promised we would operate at a certain level. I promised we would have a certain level of excellence in this business. I promised some things to myself, right? Because remember, when we talk about lead, we also are talking about self-leadership. We're not just talking about leading other people. You have to first lead you. So we have to be able to go through these same things, right? But on a personal level as well. And when we do that, we can then embody that and be that for others. So you can see here, let me maybe get one of my colors here. So you can see here, we have spelled something here, right? So we got L-E-A-D. So you can see why we say it's time to lead, right? And when we say that, we're saying we want to listen to the people we serve. We want everyone that follows us to know they matter. We want to create alignment between what people want to do and what needs to be done, right? There's mastery in there and creativity to know how to do that. And we want to deliver on what we promise to make sure that we are not only committing to things verbally or in writing, but making sure the things that we have said are actually reaching the people we've been committed to serve, right? We've been given the responsibility to serve, right? So this is really, really the key here. And I hope that you really, really enjoyed this, because if you enjoyed it, you'll be motivated and have a motive to go and implement it as a leader. Make sure that you take these things to heart and you challenge yourself every day to be a better leader than you were the day before. And remember, leadership is not, a skill, it's a behavior. This is I'm going to talk about this maybe at another time. So people look at it as a skill, something in a toolbox. Leadership is really a behavior that must be cultivated and developed. It's something that has to be a part of your makeup, something that you have allowed. And you can do leadership-oriented things, and you can develop skills that look like leadership. But a true leader is a leader because they are a leader, right? They've actually embraced the role of a leader. They've become that. It's just like saying a father, a mother, right? When you really are that, right? You're not a father or mother because you had a child, right? It's because you're embodying what that role requires. And I challenge you, embody the role of leadership as a behavior to be exercised and demonstrated, and not a skill to be used when it's popular. I'm Michael E. Parker, and I thank you for listening to this, and I'll see you next time as we strive to be the CEO